You know, I've been thinking a lot lately about how Nintendo's been expanding their Switch Classics lineup lately. We've got NES, SNES, N64, GBA, and even GameCube now. And with the Switch 2 finally out, it feels like the perfect time to take this service to the next level. But there's still one system missing, one that defined an entire generation of Nintendo, the 3DS. And honestly, if Nintendo's serious about preserving their history, this should be one of the next big additions. Now, I'll be real. If anything, the DS would probably come first. It's sold more, it's older, it's easier to market as a classic system, at this point at least, and honestly I'd be fine with that. The DS library absolutely deserves it. But the 3DS was the DS evolution, and it deserves its moment too, especially now that the Switch 2 is more powerful. Full disclosure though, I have a modded 3DS. It's sitting right here on my desk, and I still use it all the time. It's the only way to play so many games now that the eShop is completely gone, and it's kind of wild to think that the little handheld still holds up. But every time I use it, I can't help but think, this shouldn't be the only way to experience these games. The Switch 2 is a perfect home for them. It's got the power of the screen, the touch controls, it could absolutely handle 3DS titles if Nintendo put in the effort. And yeah, I get it, the 3DS is tricky. The dual screen design was baked into almost every aspect of its games, but we've already seen emulators like Stitcher handle this problem just fine. You can toggle between screens, have one tucked in the corner, swap them on the fly. The Switch 2 could easily replicate that, especially with improved performance and touchscreen displays. It's not a question of whether it's possible, it's whether Nintendo wants to take that step. And honestly, the 3DS deserves it. You have Ocarina of Time 3D, Majora's Mask 3D, Fire Emblem Awakening, Kid Icarus Uprising, Mario 3D Land, and Link Between Worlds, the list goes on. Just an unbelievable amount of games. That era hit a perfect balance between Nintendo vibe and more ambitious modern side of their design. It's one of the most complete creative libraries they've ever made, and right now it's just stuck on aging hardware. When Nintendo shut down the 3DS eShop, they didn't just close the store, they locked away an entire generation of games. And that's exactly what Switch Classics is supposed to bring back, giving players an easy, official way to access Nintendo's past that's also legal. Adding 3DS titles would be a massive step forward in that mission. But honestly, even if they don't go all the way with 3DS emulation, I'd be perfectly fine with some individual ports as long as they're just, not 120 Canadian dollars or something ridiculous. I think a lot of people would be totally fine paying for standalone ports if Nintendo made them affordable. Stuff like Fire Emblem or Link Between Worlds could be great as separate releases, especially with a few touch-ups for HD screens. Still, putting them on Nintendo Classics makes more sense long term. Start small, add a few first-party games that translate well into one screen, like Kirby Planet Robobot or Mario & Luigi Dream Team, then maybe bring in more complex titles later once they nail down the dual-screen setup. And again, I really think the Switch 2 is the perfect time for this. The system's fresh, people are excited about what Nintendo will add to the service next, and the tech finally feels ready for something like this. The DS might come first, and it probably should, but the 3DS can't be left behind forever. It's too important to ignore Nintendo's legacy. So yeah, it's not about whether they can, it's about whether they will. Because the 3DS wasn't just another handheld, it was a defining part of Nintendo's modern history. It deserves to be preserved, whether through Switch Classics or standalone ports. And as someone who still uses their modded 3DS, I'd love to see those games get an official secondhand life on the Switch too. Also, seriously, can I just play Mario 3D Land again without having to squint at a tiny screen? Please?